It's changeover day in our Airbnb, so let's go inside and see how they left it. If you're new here, my name's Anna. I run an Airbnb here in the beautiful Devon countryside. On this channel, I'll be showing behind the scenes of what it's like to run an Airbnb, tips, guides, advice, stories, so make sure you follow along for more videos. So before we go inside and have a look, I thought I'd show you a quick look around. So this is the entrance down. Obviously it's the middle of winter, so it's not as nice as usual. That's the view with the koi pond just there. And then this is the entrance in. So these were guests from booking.com. They were two sisters. They were here for 3 or 4 nights, seeing lots of friends and family in the area. They were really, really nice. They had some issues with this heater here. So it turns on and off. We have a button and things like that, but for some reason it just wasn't going above a certain temperature and I couldn't figure out why. I can access it through an app, so I was able to just boost it for them when they were out for the day, turning it on in the afternoon for them and making sure that when they came back it was nice and warm in here. To give a bit of backstory, we took over this annex a year and a half ago. It's attached to a house we bought. For some reason in this seating area, which was an extension on the house, they didn't put any radiators, which makes no sense. So we have to have additional heaters to keep it warm. So sometimes guests do get a little bit cold in here, but like I say, we make sure we have that heater so that they can stay warm. There is also this little fireplace as well. So yeah, they've left it really neat and tidy. Like I say, they were really friendly. They said the shower was really great, which is really nice to hear. They said the bathroom was lovely and warm. This big radiator turns on, so that's good. Nothing worse than a cold bathroom. And then this is our kitchen. So you've got everything you would need. There's also a washing machine in here. You've then got a coffee pod machine, kettle, all the tea and coffee you would need, and then I also put supplies in here and anything guests have left. And you've also got all the glasses and things you would need. Plates are in there, induction hob. Then you've got the oven, microwave, all that, and then a fridge freezer in here. So they left behind a little bit of milk and the bread and some butter and jam. So we always provide guests with milk, butter, jam and things like that for them. So this is the first bedroom. Again, looks really super neat. And then that's the entrance into our house, which is locked on our side whenever guests are here. So they have a habit of, we've had people in the past coming through, so we've had to put a lock on there. People still test the door though, which I find funny. But yeah, and then this is the other room. This can be made into a twin, which is what I'm going to do today on the changeover. But yeah, and then you've got in the cupboards, you've got just, you know, cleaning stuff, things like that, hair dryers, drying rack, stuff like that. So yeah, it all looks really super neat and tidy. So I'm going to get on and change this over for our next guests that are staying here for Christmas. Get that all done so you can join me for that as we do the changeover, and then I'll do a tour again once it's all ready. changing out of my big fluffy fleece, I love that fleece, into something a little thinner, just because it is hard work doing 2 king size rooms and you get very hot way. So yeah, moving into the kitchen next. So one of our checkout instructions for our guests, we actually keep them quite, they really don't have to do very much compared to lots of places. So I think a lot of Airbnb hosts get stick because the checkout instructions are really elaborate. So it's like strip all the beds, put the towels in here, do this, do that, which I've stayed in Airbnbs, I absolutely hate. So what we do here is we don't ask guests to strip the beds. We don't ask to put the towels anywhere, you can just leave them where they like. The only thing we ask is that you just take the rubbish on your way out and you put the key in the lockbox. A lot of people forget to do the rubbish. Point there. They didn't remember to do the rubbish. But that's mainly on booking.com. People forget. Airbnb, most people follow the checkout instructions just because you get reviewed on Airbnb and they want to get a good review so they can stay places and things like that. So yeah, to be honest, I really don't care whether they take the rubbish out or not. Makes no difference to me. It's just useful having that bin out there, so if they're a longer stay, they have somewhere to put their rubbish. But yeah, like I say, not that bothered. But I'm going to move on to the kitchen, the bathroom and the living room now. Done the main sort of physical bit that's exhausting, that takes probably the longest. And we'll move on to the final bit. And then I'll do a little tour around to show you what it's like when it's all done. Now I just said that they left the bin. No. They put a new bin liner in for me. So they'd actually taken the bins. Now I checked the bins outside. The bin isn't there. So maybe they put it in the top one by our drive because they were being really nice. Because there's a bit of like recycling in the outside bit, which is fine. But they put a new liner in. I think I've had that happen like twice before. But to be honest, I'm not surprised. They were such nice guests. I'm not surprised they've done that. So I was wrong. They did empty the bin and then they put a new liner in to save me some time, which is very nice. But anyway, I'm gonna crack on, get the next bit done. And here it is all ready for our next guest. So these guests asked for this room to be set up as a twin. And then the other room, obviously as a double. And then in the kitchen, I've put, we do this for all of our guests, bread, milk, some jam, butter, just because it's a nice thing to have. Because people wouldn't necessarily bring those things. And then we've got coffee, tea, sugar, and then the pods. And then in here is just like salt and pepper and other things guests have left. And then bin liner in there, cloth, tea towel, and then there's extra things under the sink as well. And then if we go into the bathroom, this is all, got everything they need. I wait for the floors to dry and then I'll put that under there. And then they've got everything they need. soap and stuff, and then extra toilet rolls. And then in the living room, this is all set up. So there's a guide with everything they need to know, checkouts, places to visit, things like that. But yeah, so this is all ready. So like I say, we've got guests staying for Christmas, so they're staying for a couple of days for Boxing Day, and then we've got one person staying for Boxing Day, then they check out the day after that, and then we got people staying in between that till New Year's. Then there's one on New Year's Eve and then one on New Year's Day as well. So pretty busy, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, like, subscribe. Also, if you have any questions about running an Airbnb that you want to ask, comment below and let me know, and I'll try and answer them in a video. But thanks for joining me on this changeover, and I'll see you in the next one.